In the world of Formula One, few moments spark controversy like a big-name driver running into trouble, especially when it involves Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. After Hamilton's disqualification in China, fans and pundits alike questioned whether this was a sign of decline. Ferrari's team principal, Fred Vasseur, thought otherwise, and he wasted no time making his stance clear. Fred Vasseur stepped forward with an impassioned defence that blindsided many in the paddock. He dismissed talk of Hamilton's age as ignorant, emphasising that it was the team's ride height setup, not driver error, that led to the plank wear issue. Vasseur went further, praising Hamilton's sprint performance in China and reminding reporters of the Brits' tenacity in the final races with Mercedes. If a driver were truly in decline, Vasseur argued, he wouldn't be clocking laps that consistently outperform younger competitors. The significance of Vasseur's statements went beyond merely clarifying the technical side of the penalty. His tone was protective, almost personal, making it clear that Ferrari had no interest in scapegoating Hamilton. Instead, the message was loud and unambiguous. Hamilton remains a pivotal part of Ferrari's vision for success, and the team is ready to back him unequivocally. This show of unity surprised insiders, given Ferrari's reputation for intense internal politics. It suggested that, at least for now, everyone in Maranello sees Hamilton not as a fading legend, but as their ticket to returning the prancing horse to its former glory. Lewis Hamilton's disqualification in China seemed to erupt from nowhere. One moment he was basking in the afterglow of a dominant sprint race performance. The next, race stewards announced he had breached the rules on plank wear, wiping out his Grand Prix result. The penalty not only cost him valuable points, but it also ignited a firestorm of speculation about what this setback truly meant for a seven-time world champion at the start of a new era with Ferrari. To casual observers, it looked like a minor technical glitch. To Hamilton's critics, it became further evidence he might be losing his edge. But there's far more to the story than meets the eye. In modern Formula One, even the smallest miscalculation, like a few millimetres in ride height, can spell the difference between glory and disaster. Ferrari, caught between pushing for maximum performance and avoiding technical pitfalls, gambled aggressively in China. Hamilton, who thrives on extracting every ounce of speed from his car, ended up over the limit. As soon as news of the disqualification broke, social media erupted with theories, accusations, and dire predictions. Yet beneath the drama lies a complex dynamic that could define not just Hamilton's season, but the very future of Ferrari. Even before that chaotic weekend in China, Hamilton's decision to leave Mercedes for Ferrari had captivated the entire motorsport world. You don't just walk away from a team that helped you secure multiple world championships without huge expectations riding on your shoulders. The allure of Ferrari, a legendary name steeped in history, was impossible to resist, both for Hamilton seeking a new challenge and for fans eager to see whether he could bring the prancing horse back to title-winning form. It was, in many eyes, a match made for the record books. The most famous team in F1 teaming up with one of the greatest drivers in the sport's history. However, the transition has been anything but seamless. The SF25, while capable of impressive single-lap pace, has proven tricky to set up for longer stints. Mechanical gremlins in Australia and strategic misfires early in the season already tested the patience of both driver and team. Hamilton, accustomed to Mercedes' highly efficient operations, found himself in a new environment with different protocols and a different style of problem-solving. The China debacle, therefore, arrived like a hammer blow, raising eyebrows and causing many to wonder if this high-profile partnership was heading toward turbulence sooner than anyone predicted. Officially, Hamilton's disqualification boiled down to excessive plank wear, a seemingly minor technical infraction that looms large within F1's regulations. Modern race cars operate within razor-thin tolerances, and any deviation from the rulebook can be grounds for immediate disqualification. Ferrari's engineers had opted for an aggressive ride height, hoping to unlock more downforce and better stability. But with limited data and unpredictable track conditions, the risk proved too great. By pushing the boundary of what the SF25 could handle, they inadvertently placed Hamilton in the crosshairs of the stewards. Critics spun this incident as a glaring sign of Hamilton's decline, arguing that a younger version of him would have managed the car better. Yet insiders paint a different picture. Hamilton was driving at the limit, precisely because Ferrari needed every point possible to keep pace in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. The push that won him the sprint race now backfired during the main Grand Prix. In essence, the same hunger for victory that has defined Hamilton's career set the stage for a rule violation that overshadowed his entire weekend. Hamilton's age became an overnight hot topic, with some pundits insisting the disqualification proved he couldn't handle the pressure in a new team at 40 years old. Social media, always quick to jump on controversies, lit up with debates. Was Hamilton past his prime? Had he already peaked during the Mercedes years? Could Ferrari be banking on a driver whose best days were behind him? These questions piled on top of an already intense spotlight, creating a wave of skepticism that threatened to overshadow Hamilton's actual on-track achievements. Yet, to those who followed his career closely, this narrative felt premature. Hamilton's adaptability had led him to success under countless regulation changes, teammate rivalries, and team politics in the past. The very weekend of the disqualification featured a dominating pole and sprint win, hardly the markers of a driver in decline. Still, in the hyper-competitive and often unforgiving world of F1, a single misstep can rapidly become a full-blown crisis, if not addressed swiftly. For Hamilton, the looming question was how to silence the doubters again, and prove his Ferrari move wasn't just a high-profile swan song. Despite public shows of solidarity, adapting to Ferrari's culture and the SF25's quirks hasn't been a walk in the park for Hamilton. Unlike at Mercedes, where every department seemingly fired on all cylinders, Ferrari operates with its own unique blend of tradition, passion, and sometimes internal tension. The car itself can be unpredictable when balancing downforce against tyre management, and it demands a delicate setup that leaves little margin for error. Hamilton, known for his meticulous approach to car development, has reportedly spent long hours with Ferrari's engineers trying to decode the SF25's secrets. Insiders say there have been heated late-night meetings, re-evaluations of testing data, and a scramble to refine the approach before the season slips away. At the same time, Hamilton remains under constant scrutiny from a fan base and media environment that can be unforgiving if results don't match the hype. Between the mechanical setbacks, the high-profile disqualification, and the pressure to justify his move to Maranello, Hamilton walks a tightrope each race weekend. Yet for all the chaos, sparks of potential remain. When the car is dialed in, as seen during the sprint in China, Hamilton still looks capable of stirring fear in any rival's heart. Underneath the weekly headlines, an even larger narrative looms. What does the Hamilton-Ferrari partnership mean for the future of Formula One? Hamilton stands on the cusp of becoming the undisputed greatest in terms of championships and race wins, but only if he adds to his tally. Ferrari, meanwhile, hasn't sealed a drivers' championship in years, and each season of missed opportunities weighs heavily on the team's fabled legacy. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Hamilton leads Ferrari back to the top, it could rival Michael Schumacher's dominance as one of the sport's most storied dynasties. Yet if the partnership falters, the backlash could be monumental. Critics would claim Hamilton stayed in the game too long, tarnishing his near-perfect legacy by chasing glory at a time when his pace no longer matches his ambition. For Ferrari, another misfire in choosing a lead driver would underscore a pattern of mistakes that have kept them from consistently challenging for titles. This collision of personal ambition and institutional reputation puts extraordinary pressure on every qualifying session, every pit stop, and every managerial decision. The margin for error in Formula One is always minuscule. Now it feels microscopic.